Hello and welcome back to the Taste and Bloom Kitchen. My name is Yasmin and today I'll be showing you how I make and freeze or store my spring rolls for the house. This particular recipe is a beef spring rolls recipe from scratch. So please stay with me and let's do this together. So I'll start with my very simple filling. I'm going in with a bit of cooking oil in my frying pan, and then I'll add some garlic and ginger paste, and I'll also go in with some chopped onions and stir fry this for about 3 to 5 minutes. Once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and add in my minced meat. So for this recipe, like I mentioned at the beginning, I'll be using beef. So what I did is to use my dry mill blender to blend or mince some beef that I had in the freezer, and it came out perfectly. But you can use store bought minced meat, it also works fine. But when I mentioned that I'll be doing this from scratch, I really meant from scratch, okay? I'm going to season with some chicken seasoning and salt. Yes, chicken, because I realized I didn't have beef seasoning when I was shooting this video, and I'm like, why not? It's all seasoning, okay? And then I gave this a good mix and then made sure that my beef cooked through. That's the most important bit, okay? Make sure you don't have any red or pink patches of meat anywhere. Then you know that you're on the right course. So, in all honesty, I do not usually make spring rolls at home because, first of all, I find the process tiring, and second of all, when you go to the supermarket, or I mean, there are people who sell these frozen ones already, but this particular day I was craving it so much, and where I live, it's not very easy to get these things. So, I'm like, okay, let me just get up and then gather some energy and put this together. Okay. So once my meat is ready for me, I'm going to go in with some shredded or grated carrots. So my filling is very simple. Okay. I usually do not like these green vegetables in my spring roll filling or meat pie filling or whatever filling it is. Okay. So I decided to keep it simple with just the carrots. I went in with a bit of water to soften the carrots just a bit. And then that was how my filling went. That's all. Okay. If you're new here, if I've not mentioned already, my name is Yasmi. This is my kitchen taste and bloom. Please consider subscribing and joining this amazing blooming family. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back to watch my video. Please, if you're enjoying what you're watching, give me a thumbs up and let's continue doing this together, okay? So once my filling is done, I'm going to leave it to cool down completely while I work on my spring roll wrappers. So before we get to making those wrappers, I know you know there are quite a number of methods, maybe three, that you can use to achieve these spring roll wrappers. To be honest with you, I'm going to be showing you the one that I prefer, though it's more tedious. I like that one better. So I'm going in with some salt into my all-purpose flour, give it a good mix, and then add water gradually till I form a dough. The dough shouldn't be sticky, it shouldn't be wet, it shouldn't be too hard, it should be just fine so that you can work on it. You can roll it into a ball, and when it's done, you can also divide it into pieces or smaller bits and then roll it out also. So once the spring roll or the dough comes together, rather, I'm going to leave this on my countertop for about 15 minutes to rest, and then I'll come back to it. Once I get back to it, it's very easy to work with, okay? I divide it into bits. So for this, I got 17 balls. I'll leave the measurements and the ingredients in the description box, okay? For the spring roll wrappers, you're looking to getting very thin sheets. So it's okay to roll out balls which are very small. So you realize initially I divided it into eight and then I realized that they were still too big. And then I went ahead to divide them again. As usual, my sous chef is with me, okay? So please enjoy the backing vocals. So once I've divided my dough into the pieces I want, I'll go ahead, like I mentioned, to roll them out into balls like you're seeing me on the screen doing. And then cover it once they are all done so that it does not dry out, okay? And then you pick one ball at a time and then roll it out into flat circles. So at this point, don't worry, you don't have to get them out into like very big circles. Small or medium circles are fine because this is not the final rolling out, okay? So like I mentioned, this is the method I prefer to use, though it takes a bit of time. So when I'm done rolling out my ball, I'm going to oil one surface and then flour it as well. So that when I stack another one on top, it does not stick together. Okay. So this is the second one I'm rolling out. I'm demonstrating it so that you understand what I meant when I explained it initially. Okay. The same way when I stack it on top of it, I'll oil and then flour and then go through with all my 17 balls. So I did three stacks of six, six, and five. That makes 17, right? Yes. And then I went ahead to roll out these stacks separately into very flat circles or round shapes if you like. So make sure that you are rolling it out as thinly as you can, okay? We want the wrappers to be as thin as possible. If not, it will be difficult to roll it and make your spring rolls. So, like you're seeing me, I am making sure I am stretching it out. So, once you're rolling, be turning it so that you don't lose the round shape of the wrappers or the dough, okay? And it takes a bit of time, but you have to be very gentle with the rolling. And yes, you're going to be successful. So, once that's done, in a heated pan on low heat, I'm going to go ahead and throw in my rolled out dough. Give it about 5 minutes on each side. What you realize is that the side that you can see, okay, begins to puff up a bit. Then you know it is time to flip to the other side. So once it's done, carefully separate the sheets into individual ones, okay? And that's what you're seeing on the screen. You can see that mine were very thin. Okay, so I'll go ahead and fill my spring roll wrappers with my beef filling. Very simple. And then I'll use a mixture of flour and water, which is in a paste-like form, okay, to seal my wrappers so that the spring rolls or the filling rather does not come out when you are frying. So yeah, that's basically it. Very simple how I make mine. You can be versatile with the filling, use any filling you want, and then you have some spring rolls in the freezer whenever you want to enjoy it. Especially if you live far away from these supermarkets that have them on sale, okay? So I put them in Ziploc bags and then fry them in hot oil whenever I feel like enjoying some spring rolls, okay? Do let me know what you think about this recipe in the comment section. Also, share when you're done watching, give me a thumbs up, and then subscribe if you haven't already. And until we meet again, keep blooming.